What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 333. And I basically got done finishing the Honorable Shyne documentary. I know I talked about that in the last episode of me, giving kind of a review of the documentary because I was really excited to watch it. It's one of those things that I wasn't expecting to even care about, to be honest with you. But I saw Shyne go on this kind of media run, and I was watching clips and him being a prime minister of his hometown of Belize, that transition is just drastic to me, right? It's a completely different person from the person that was signed to Diddy back in, I think, 1998. So I wanted to watch the documentary. I was just very curious and, see, how that transition happened, what happened that night of the shooting, so on and so forth, and how did Shyne get to where he's at. And this documentary really did a great job of doing that with involving the right people. I want to get to my own level of being able to do documentaries like this. I think the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary was a step towards that. I want to be able to do documentaries like the Honorable Shyne. It's a very well done documentary, and I hope in the future I get a chance to do that about a certain artist, a story about their life. The main takeaways from it is very well executed. I felt like, what needed to be discussed was discussed. And of course, the main thing that people wanted to talk about was the shooting with Diddy involved. Now, with everything that's going on with Diddy, obviously, it puts a bigger light on that whole incident. And, they talked about it in length. They didn't just skim over it. They didn't, shy away from the story. And that's what I like about Shyne too. Like in the interviews that he's done in the media runs, he hasn't shied away from any story. It's part of his past, and he's willing to discuss it, which is great. He did mention how he wanted more of the prime minister section in this documentary, but to be honest with you, this is no disrespect to Shyne when I'm saying this. If it was mainly about him being prime minister, if the full let's just say the documentary I believe is about 2 hours long. I could be wrong. Yeah, it's roughly 2 hours long, about an hour and 43 minutes. That's how long Hulu says it is. So if the documentary was, an hour and 43 minutes, and about an hour of it was him about being a prime minister, not that many people would watch it, to be honest with you. There would be less interest because people like the drama, people like the history, people like when he was a rapper, a superstar. Not saying right now what he's doing is not interesting, because I'm very interested in it, just that whole transition that he's made. But, he even touched lightly on 50 and their little quick beef and how he was defending Irv Gotti and Mainly Murder Inc. and how at one point G-Unit tried to sign him. And, he had a bidding war in prison after the whole shooting. The first album came out. It did very good. And it made me actually go back and listen to his debut album. And it's a very good album. I think Shyne would have been one of the biggest artists out in hip-hop, period, had this never happened. The interesting thing in his story that I did not know was that Shyne gave his CD to Jay-Z and said, check it out, basically. Jay-Z took it and basically tossed it out of his car. Then Shyne ran into him a couple of months later somewhere, and he basically asked him, hey, did you get a chance to check out the CD? He said, yeah, it's all right. He basically lied. He tossed it out, the car window, never listened to it, which is a shame. Jay-Z should have definitely checked it out, man. I think he messed up. But I think maybe at that time it was based on how they were telling the story. Shyne's rhyme scheme and the way he was rapping wasn't really hitting the same. But Shyne was the only artist that I know that I can think of who had this insane bidding war for him without a single album or single released. It was just a demo tape of him rapping on random shit and him rapping in the streets. He would just rap to people, and the buzz was just that great just because of his voice. His voice got compared a lot to Biggie, but that's just the way Shyne talks. It's not something that he was trying to do. And, there was a bidding war where at one point Chris Lighty, Lear Cohen, and all these individuals offered him $3-4 million. But ultimately he ended up going with Diddy for $1 million because he was like, I want longevity and I want to learn from somebody that can, mentor me, blah, blah, blah. And, he saw Diddy as the guy to be the person that could take him to superstar status where he could learn from him. And ultimately that obviously didn't go the right way. Diddy did the snake shit that Diddy does, and he completely, this documentary is clears it up that he completely distanced himself from Shyne once this incident happened. I mean, once Diddy beat his case at the end, they asked him about Shyne. How do you feel about blah, 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 Shyne? What do you got? He just ignored it and moved on. And he moved on with his life. Never paid Shyne anything. Diddy did what he did, right? He fucked someone's life up and just moved on and decided to go on with his ways. And, you know, Shyne talks about how one of the most painful things about him being locked up was seeing all of his peers and people that he looked up to become even more successful, knowing that he could have been on that level. Yeah, and then when he got out, obviously the music wasn't hitting the same. The voice, the flow, you know, he regrets, you know, immediately coming out. I think he came out on that DJ Khaled record with Movado. He said he regrets doing those tracks because he had just gotten out. You know, let him kind of chill, figure out things again, deliver again, you know, because I think he could have got back into rap, and his voice sounded way off, and everything just sounded way off. It just wasn't the same. And then that transitioned him to being a prime minister. Obviously, he was kicked out of America for quite some time, but eventually came back. But yeah, man, overall, an amazing documentary. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. There really wasn't anything that I disliked. There's a few things here and there that I felt could have been done better. But overall, amazing documentary. Definitely, if you have Hulu, check it out, The Honorable Shyne. So yeah, I just wanted to give a quick review on that. Speaking of Shyne, he recalls Diddy visiting him in prison. And he said he basically wanted to spit in his face. So let's play the clip.
But I felt he owed me something. And so it's like, you know, he probably gave me like 50 racks. And I'm like, you know, you can't be serious. Like, that's 10 years, 50 racks? Like, oh, man.
So that whole 10 years you were in jail, he didn't reach out to you at all?
He came to see me once, and I think I tried to spit in his face.
Okay.
In Rikers Island, so
that's probably why he didn't come back. Yeah.
I didn't want him to come back. I didn't even want him to come see me. I didn't even know he was coming to see me. They just brought me down in the lawyer's office, and you know.
Yeah. So the first time, basically the only time Diddy went to go see him, he tried to spit in Diddy's face because obviously he was still upset about the whole situation. It seemed like Diddy didn't give two fucks, distanced himself, and just said, "Whatever, man, done with this guy. I can go find another Shyne anytime I want to." That's basically what he did. He just moved on and found other artists to sign and doesn't care, man. I don't know how somebody can go on with their life like that, like knowing that they did something and then they have somebody else take the fall for it and then just move on with their life. Like if somebody took the fall for me 10 years and I was a billionaire, I would definitely hook them up with at least a minimum $5 million. Hey, you're out. Here's $5 million. I'll get you a house and a car. Hey, appreciate everything that you did. At least minimum, that's all Diddy could have done. But instead, he only gave him $50,000. That's nothing, man. That is a spit in the face again. But, you know, as long as Shyne's moved on from it, obviously, as you can see, karma comes for full circle because Diddy is now locked up. Shyne is a free man, prospering out here. He might not be a billionaire, but he's prospering. He's doing his thing. He's at peace. He's helping a lot of people. There you go. Karma comes full circle. If there is any proof that karma exists, it's at this moment. Diddy got away with so many things, but now he's facing the exact same thing that Shyne was facing, that Tupac, that all these people that Diddy allegedly dragged down and did stuff to are facing. So unfortunate, man. But Shyne definitely signed, you know, he signed a multi-million-dollar deal to put out his second album, and it sold 1 million copies while in prison, which is insane. It did like 170,000 first week. It debuted at like number 3. Him and Tupac were the only artists incarcerated at the time to have a top 10 album on the Billboard charts while being incarcerated. So he still had success. He still made millions regardless. One thing that you got to give Diddy, I guess, props, if this is any props to give, is he did let like Shyne go and do his own thing, you know, after the whole shooting incident, because the debut album would have probably, and they highlight this in the documentary, his debut album probably would have never came out had Diddy not just kind of let the situation go, let him do his own thing. Anthony Wolf Jones, who is Diddy's bodyguard, close associate, who passed away, I think, in 2003, he was the one that advocated Diddy to say, hey, let him release his album, let him do his thing. Because I'm sure Diddy still would have probably held him and been like, fuck, he's not going to release his album, fuck him, period. Like, that probably would have been a possibility. But Diddy's responsible for a lot of great artists not being able to have their careers and do their thing. I'm going to put it 70% on Diddy's shoulder that Biggie and Pac died because of Diddy. Like 70% of it is because of Diddy, in my eyes. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying there's facts to that. There's not. Just based off what I've read, what I've seen, the documentary of me doing the $1 million hit on Tupac's life surrounding Diddy, a lot of it is Diddy's blame. He is a person that sucks the life out of people, will make you the fall guy no matter what. He doesn't care about nobody else but himself. It's clear as day. There's too many stories of this, too many situations of this to say that this is not just a coincidence, to say that this is just this is a one-time incident. He just didn't like Shyne. But no, there's too many stories of people saying this type of stuff, that Diddy snakes him, Diddy does this person bad, to say that that's not his character. That is his character. So shout out to Shyne, man. Great documentary, great press run, and we'll see what happens in moving forward with him. I definitely am going to be keeping an eye out for him because really interesting life story, man, trajectory. Speaking of Diddy, he has been accused of raping multiple men in a new wave of lawsuits. Diddy has been accused of raping multiple men in the latest wave of lawsuits against the embattled mogul. Each lawsuit accuses Diddy of violent sexual assault and involves 3 men and 2 women, all of whom have filed anonymously. One of the male accusers claims the bad boy boss raped him in 2022 after he was invited to an after party at the mogul's mansion in Miami. The lawsuit alleges Diddy gave the man a drink and led him on a tour of the property that came to an end in a bedroom, where the record executive demanded 2 women perform sexual dances for a group of 3 men. The man claims he then felt weak and disoriented and soon lost consciousness entirely before waking up to discover Diddy attempting to rape him. At some point later, he woke to a sharp pain in his rectum and anus, the suit reads. As he turned around to check the pain coming from his anus, he saw Combs naked, fully, trying to insert his into the plaintiff's the man claims the spiked drink made it impossible for him to fight off Diddy, who he said had a disturbing smile on his face while he allegedly raped him. In a separate lawsuit, another man claims that he met Puffy in 2001 for a possible acting role in a music video. Diddy allegedly arrived at the casting and ordered the man to take his shirt off before offering him a drink. The plaintiff claims he accepted a Diet Coke, which tasted strange. Listen, man, I don't care who you are, besides my family. I don't care if I've been friends with you for 10, 20, 30 years. I am never accepting an open drink from somebody, period. That's a number one rule for me. Close friends could do you dirty and do something to you. You don't know what people are going through, what's in their mind. That's how much of a trust issues I have. I've never accepted already open drinks from people, and nor should you, period. Never accept an already opened drink. That shit needs to be sealed, factory sealed, before I even take a sip, period. I was doing this one. I was at this place doing some work for somebody a while ago. This one I had the hip hop website, blah, blah, blah. And, this guy was a cool person, but he was just, I was just around people I don't know. It was just him that I barely knew. And some guy came up to me. He's like, hey, man, what do you like to drink? I was like, just water's fine. He's like, we don't got water. We got blah, 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 whatever. I don't know. He had like Sprite, whatever the hell drinks. And he handed me a Sprite that was already opened. I think it was a Sprite. I don't remember that well. Whatever. It was a drink. It was already opened. And I looked at him. I was like, can I get one that's closed? I just blatantly said it. I don't care. Like, if I'm going to accept a drink, which I was thirsty at the time because we were working all day and I just didn't have anything. And, he offered. I was like, hell yeah, I need something to drink. Or I was going to go to the gas station and get something. Either or. Right? I was like, can you give me a closed one? He's like, what? What's wrong with this one? I was like, I don't want to open drink already, Like, no disrespect. And he kind of like gave me like an attitude. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just asking for a closed drink. Is that a huge ask? You're the one that offered me a drink. Give me a fucking closed one. It's that simple. Yeah, he kind of gave me a little like angry face and gave me a closed one. I was like, all right. I mean, shit. I didn't want to drink the closed one after that. I was like, what the fuck? But never accept. I mean, here's a perfect example. Never accept an open drink. If a Diet Coke tasted strange, you're probably already too late. Or if anything tastes strange, you take a sip and it tastes strange, and definitely something's going on there. Just don't drink it. The lawsuit then alleges the man became disoriented and realized he was laying face down across a large ottoman with his head and arms hanging off of one side and the lower half of his body hanging off the other. The suit states his pants were pulled down to his ankles and his shirt was pulled over his head. He felt a great deal of pain and realized as he looked back that he was being anally sodomized by Combs. His vision was blurry, but he recognizes Combs' chest tattoo and the large gold chain with the jeweled cross on it that Combs wore during the interview. The man claims that Diddy's bodyguard and another man from the audition were also involved in a sexual assault, with the latter orally sodomizing him. A third lawsuit from an unnamed man claims that Diddy raped him at a party in New York City, claims that he lost consciousness after drinking an alcohol beverage and woke up in a dark room to discover Combs on top of him sodomizing him. The two other lawsuits accuse Diddy of forcing an 18-year-old woman to perform oral sex on several of his bodyguards in a limousine outside New York City nightclub in 2001 and drugging and raping a 17-year-old girl at one of his 4th of July parties in the Hamptons. The 55-year-old has denied all allegations. Yeah, I don't know, man. Too many lawsuits. I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know. Whatever. It's all, at this point, it just breaks down to the evidence. That's all that matters. What kind of proof do you have that this happened? Because the guy in 2022 probably has more proof than the people in 2001 and all these random years that people are suing. So we'll keep our eyes posted. As far as Diddy, the prosecutors have, we reported on this last episode about them accusing Diddy of swaying jury's opinion in public media and, swaying people's opinion on him in public and all that. They denied that they illegally seized items. So let's go over the article. Diddy's ongoing legal drama has taken another twist as prosecutors have denied illegally seizing items from the bad boy boss's jail cell that would give them an advantage in his sex trafficking trial. In a legal motion filing on Monday, November 18th, Puffy's lawyers claimed the prosecutors are in possession of attorney-client privilege material that they took from his cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. The material in question allegedly includes handwritten notes by Diddy regarding witnesses and defense strategies, which were passed on to the U.S. Attorney's Office. This search and seizure are in violation of Mr. Combs' 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights, the filing reads. This is a matter of grave concern that most respectfully must be addressed immediately. Diddy's legal team requested an immediate hearing to establish who authorized a search of his cell, who determined which items to seize, and who decided to give these items to prosecutors. Prosecutors have since acknowledged that they raided Diddy's cell, but they claim it was necessary as they have accused the embattled mogul of violating jail rules and using unauthorized methods of communication. We talked about this. According to DMZ, they also claim that Diddy was in possession of a folder labeled legal that contained a notebook, an address book, and various personal items. Prosecutors say they did not take possession of the folder nor take photographs of it. However, the notebook and address book were photographed and left in the cell. Prosecutors also gave the photographs to a filter team to determine if any details should remain confidential or to be redacted. The U.S. attorney claims the photos include wide-ranging notes to himself, including notes related to Disney's business interests, his release of music, and family matters. A hearing on the matter has been scheduled for Tuesday, November 19th, with Diddy expected to attend. I don't see any updates on that. But yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. YNW Melly, shout out to him. He sued for inhumane conditions where he's at. And it might actually be working because he might actually go out on bail, which is something that should have happened a long time ago because this guy's been locked up and he hasn't been officially been guilty of anything. They had a mistrial. After that mistrial, he should have been released on bail because he's not officially a guilty person in this case of them accusing him of murdering 2 of his friends, right? So let's go over the article. The Broward Sheriff's Office must explain why YNW Melly, who has been behind bars in South Florida since 2019, shouldn't be released from jail. A federal judge ruled Monday, weeks after the rapper sued, alleging egregious violations of his constitutional rights. U.S. District Judge Melissa DeMaine ordered BSO to file a detailed response by December 6th, explaining why Melly shouldn't be immediately released from jail, including all documents and transcripts necessary for the resolution of this petition. Such records would likely shed more light on the conditions of Melly's detention. A 12-page lawsuit filed in Miami federal court earlier this month alleged that the rapper has been kept in total isolation with no way to contact the outside world, also has been barred from meeting with his legal team on several occasions. The conditions in which Melly is living in the document states shock the conscious and could not even be imagined, even in a third world country that has no guardrails protecting human decency and dignity. Yeah, we went over this a while ago, but hey, they got a couple of weeks to respond as to why YNW Melly should still be locked up. And if they don't respond properly, he will be out on bail. And then whenever the trial starts, which I believe they said is sometime in 2025, I think September. I could be wrong on that. And, he'll be out for at least, if it's September 2025, he'll be out for at least, what is it now, November? When is September? The 9th? Yeah, he'll be out for at least, 10, 11 months, somewhere around there, depending on when he gets out, probably 10 months. So that's, hey, man, 10 months of freedom. You can record music, do promo runs. You can do a lot of things, right? Whatever gets approved, obviously. But, hey, that helps you out a lot, in terms of putting money in your pocket and becoming relevant again in the world, which, I don't know if there's a possibility after being locked up all this time, but we'll see. But, yeah, that's the update. So it might actually have worked on YNW Melly's favor. Like I said, I don't know if this guy did it or not, but it is messed up to keep somebody locked up for all this time, and he isn't officially guilty of anything. It's fucked up. So that's my take on it. If he's guilty, obviously lock him up, throw away the keys. It's messed up to kill two of your best friends, but he hasn't been officially guilty of anything. So this guy's been locked up for just sitting around waiting for another trial. It's stupid. Especially if he can put up the money and he's not like a threat to society or anything like that. Let him go. So, yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. It was only a matter of time when this would happen. Soulja Boy has fired back at Plies for suing him for copyright infringement. Let's go over the article. Plies recently had a lawsuit claiming that a number of artists ripped off his beat from his song Me and My Goons. It's prompted an angry response from one of them, which is Soulja Boy. The suit claims that Soulja Boy's Pretty Boy swag infringes copyright for Me and My Goons and says that Glorilla, Megan Thee Stallion, and Cardi B did the same on their hit song Wannabe. Well, Soulja Boy responded, so let's go over it.
They talking about some, man, Plies on you. Plies, if you don't sit your bro down, what the fuck wrong with your cheap? Pretty Boy swag is not your beat. So you want to wait 10 years to try to sue a nigga for a beat. That is not your beat, crazy man. What the fuck is wrong with you, Plies? Need to change your name to Lies, cause you a motherfucking lie. You know that ain't your motherfucking beat, bro. What the fuck wrong with you? You should have just said, hey, bro, I'm broke. Let me hold something. You Plies, you don't sit your bald-headed down some. Your motherfucking hairline in the middle of your head. Fuck out of here. That beat is all original music. You only can sue somebody if they sample your song and don't get it cleared. That is not a sample, bro. Sit your bro down some. The fuck wrong with you?
I ain't gonna lie. Calling Plies lies is funny as fuck, man. Shout out to Soulja Boy. He's got comedy. But I don't think Plies is broke. Plies has had, at one point, Plies was delivering hit after hit after hit. Like, you couldn't escape this guy. Let's go over his chart history, actually. I know Busted Baby Part 2 with Neo was like a huge, huge record. I actually want to go over his streams because that, like, to me, I think he's done like insane album sales as well. Not like crazy album sales, but he's done really well. The Real Testament, which is his first album with the song Shawty. That's at 268 million streams. Let's go over the songs. Heart Mind, what is that? Is that like, that's his number one song? Is he featured on there? That's 200 million streams. Hypnotized with Akon, 146 million streams. Shawty, 90 million streams. It's all, by the way, Spotify. 84 million streams on Busted Baby. Cross Me, Lil Baby, and Plies, number 5. Let's go over, I want to see his like Billboard chart history. Billboard's website is so ass cheeks. It's really, I don't know how to explain it. It's really ridiculous. Like, if you search up like songs on Billboard, you search up anything, you will not find, like, you can search up the artist Plies and you will not fucking find them on here. Like, it makes no fucking sense. Like, they used to be able to, you could just search an artist and it would show, hey, this person has the chart, blah, blah, blah. This is what they did, blah, blah, blah. But nah, I can't even fucking find Plies on this bitch. That's what I'm saying, man. Dang. So Busted Baby Part 2 is number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. Shawty was number 9. I know he had Give Me That Becky. That was a big record too. Put It On Ya was number 31. That was a big record too. Wasted, another record with Gucci. That was good. Hey Daddy, Daddy's Home, Usher featuring Plies. That did good. Lose My Mind featuring Plies. Lose My Mind. Shout out to Jeezy. That's a great record. Yeah, he got some Hypnotized, number 14. So he's got, he had 1, 2, 3 top 20 records and then 2 top 10 records. So he did this thing, man. For Plies, he did this thing. So he's made millions. I doubt he's broke. He probably clears in a year just off music. I want to bet 300 to 500,000 a year just off music royalties, depending on how his deals were. But most of the time, because Dame Dash was talking about the sale of Reasonable Doubt and his 1/3 share of Rockefeller, and he said it was 120,000 a year just off of Reasonable Doubt, whatever royalties he owned on that. And that's like an album, no disrespect to Jay-Z. That is an album that isn't Jay-Z's biggest album. It's something that like people don't really go back to as much as like other projects, right? So to be clear, 120,000 a year off that, why wouldn't Plies off his songs or albums at least do, off all of them combined, at least do 300 to 500,000? I would not be surprised. So I doubt he's broke, man. If you're making 300 to 500, now is that a far cry from making whatever he was making per year when he was like at his peak? Yeah, but still making 300 to 500,000 a year is not you being broke. Maybe compared to what you were, maybe, but the average American is nowhere near making 300,000 a year or 500,000 a year. The average American makes like 60,000. I think what the amount was actually lower than that. But yeah, so we'll see what happens moving on forward. I want to see what Plies, responds to this, but of course, Soulja Boy is gonna run his mouth as he normally does. Speaking of money and lawsuits, Young Thug has been sued. So let's go over the article. Young Thug may be out of jail, but that does not mean the end of his legal problems, as he has been sued for allegedly wrongfully receiving millions of dollars. According to All Hip Hop, the Atlanta rapper is being sued by music giant AEG for allegedly signing a publishing deal in 2021 with Cobalt Music worth $16 million. Despite AEG claiming they had already secured the rights to Thug's music, AEG argued that Thugger signed a deal with them in 2017, which saw him receive a $5.25 million loan. After failing to pay the money back, they claim he relinquished the copyright to his publishing. They claim he relinquished the copyright to his publishing to the company. That's very confusing. As part of Thug's default on the loan, AEG also argued that they received the rights to promote the YSL Leaders live shows. AEG took legal action after Thug sold his publishing in 2021. However, proceedings were paused after the rapper was arrested as part of the high-profile RICO case against his YSL collective. Now that Thug is out of jail, AEG are seeking the initial $5.25 million loan repayment plus interest, as well as any money the rapper made from his deal with Cobalt. Damn, that's a lot. They want their money back, and they want whatever money he's made. AEG previously sued Thug in 2022 for almost $6 million for breach of contract. The company claimed even with the rights to Thug's concerts, he continued booking shows on the side for hundreds of thousands of dollars in performance fees. Yeah, that sounds very messy, man. We'll see what happens moving forward, but that is a lot of money, $16 million. And the deal stopped for him before he got locked up. People don't know you know how much money you lose as a famous person if you get locked up? Like, so much slows down for you that it's the dumbest. Like, why would you risk all that money that you're making just for dumb shit to be locked up and lose it? Like, first off, your freedom's obviously priceless. That's the number one thing. You lose your freedom. But then after that, like, you lose all these insane opportunities you had. Who is this YouTuber? Is this YouTuber, maybe YouTuber, TikToker? I don't know where he's at. He's done like podcasts. This guy's like from London, I think. And he did something with a female and she accused him of sexual assault. And now he's stuck in Australia. And all the brand deals he had, everything, all the friends, quote unquote friends, whatever industry friends he had, all said, fuck this guy, and he lost everything. It's like, why would you're in a situation where you're like 1 in a million. Not many people get to be in that opportunity where they get to make hundreds of millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, and you fuck it off because you can't control your urges. It just doesn't make any sense, man. But yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward, and hopefully he gets this sorted out. NBA YoungBoy has pleaded guilty to state charges in the prescription drug ring case. This has been a case that's been going on for a while, so let's go over basically the closing of this case for the most part. NBA YoungBoy has pleaded guilty to state charges stemming from his prescription drug fraud case. According to a report from ABC4, YoungBoy appeared in Utah court on Monday, November 18th, pleading guilty to 2 counts of third-degree felony identity fraud, 2 counts of third-degree felony forgery, and 6 counts of misdemeanor unlawful pharmacy conduct. He pleaded no contest to the remaining charges. Because his plea was part of a larger plea deal, the 4 felony charges were reduced to Class A misdemeanors, resulting in a $25,000 fine and 0 prison time. In his sentencing, the judge noted he wanted to give the rapper a chance to flourish as he is already waiting sentencing on federal charges. The case is likely to result in a 27-month prison sentence, followed by 5 years of federal supervised probation. I've seen so many times where you have young men and women who have a lot of talent and potential. They can be robbed of that potential when they start to really struggle with their addictions, Walsh told NBA YoungBoy. I don't want that for you. I'm sure that in your future, once you're done with your federal prison time, you can be really successful on federal probation and have a really bright future where you can reach your full potential in every aspect of your life. Best of luck to you, Mr. Golden. Wow, pretty nice words there. State Prosecutor Ronnie Keller added, this is somewhat of a unique case where there have been multiple jurisdictions involved, both in federal and the state systems. This is just really a smaller cog in the bigger wheel of ultimately seeking justice. The alleged scheme worked like this. We talked about this ages ago, but yeah, it looks like, he's going to be serving 27 months in prison. So likely to result in that. But yeah, we'll see. Regardless, he's facing some type of prison time, wasting his life away when this guy is, at one point, was one of the most consistent artists dropping music. So unfortunate to see, man, but hopefully he gets his life on track, man. Hopefully this is the last stint where he learns his lesson and moves on, man, because he's getting a lot older now. You know, he's got a lot of kids. Just, you know, at a certain point, you have to mature. If after, how old is he right now? I don't think he's 25 or 26. Let's see. I think he's like 23, maybe. Could be wrong. Oh, he's actually 25 right now. So at this point, if he doesn't mature, because this is when your frontal cortex fully develops, and this is basically who you are going to be for the most part as a person. Not saying that you'll never change, but for the most part, 80% of it is like, okay, this is you, right? Hopefully at this point, at 25, he's like, you know what? Enough wasting my years just doing this dumb shit. I'm in my 20s. I'll only be in my 20s once. And let me, you know, figure this thing out. Let me get my mind clear in prison. And then when he gets out, he can get a fresh start like Gucci. Gucci's one of the best examples of, you know, somebody flourishing after, you know, being locked up. Same with Kevin Gates. Those are 2 individuals where, like, they actually did better when they got released, you know. So hopefully that happens with NBA YoungBoy, but we'll keep our eyes posted. Future and Metro Boomin got GQ Men of the Year alongside Cat Williams and a few other people. And while, you know, they did this cover, they also got interviewed. And they got asked about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef, where they stand, and, you know, what happened out of all this situation. So let's go over what Future said. It was very interesting what he said. He said this. So the first thing was, he was confused as to why, you know, people weren't expecting him to be mad at Kendrick. Like, he was like, I should be the one mad at Kendrick because, and here's actually a good reason. This is what he says word for word. He's ultimately felt that K-Dot excluded him from his discussion of the Big Three on his own song. He said, Big Three on my song, the rapper noted. I'm supposed to be the one who gets mad. I'm still confused about that. Future was also frustrated by the fact that nobody, peers or fans, asked how he felt about being excluded from the Big Three discussion. He perceived this in some ways as being more offensive than the direct disses that Drake and Cole received. Nobody cares about what I think, Future had. That's what was so fucked up about this shit. Future holds Kendrick Lamar responsible for not taking him seriously on his own song. He points to the other so-called members of the Big Three, however, when it came to their responses. Future believed he had far more reason to be offended by Dot's verse than Drizzy or Cole. I ain't part of this Big Three. I'm nobody on my own song, man, he told GQ. If I didn't get mad, nobody should have gotten mad. Like, why is everybody mad when he was talking about me on my song? The part of the interview that has confused most fans, though, is when Future claimed to be unaware of the brewing Big Three beef. The rapper claimed to be out of the loop on the tensions brewing between Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole. There was a beef, he recalled thinking. I didn't even know there was a beef. I didn't even know they had nothing going on. And he never participated in rap battles, man. Fans have noted that there was already tension between Future, Metro Boomin, and Drake, so the notion of Pluto being blind to what was going on prior to like that is a bit convenient. Either way, it sounds like the fallout from the beef in K-Dot's verse is still being felt. Yeah, Future said, like, hey, he felt like disrespected because he didn't like that Kendrick used his part to diss Drake and, Cole. He thought that was a corny thing. And he was like, why, the problem is that, like, I'm not mentioning this big three, and I should be first. And then on my own song, people don't give a fuck about me being disrespected, but they care about Drake and, Kendrick and Cole. And Kendrick did that on my own track, what he shouldn't have done. I didn't really like that. He didn't expect it, is what he's saying. Which people are like, people are always going to say it's a cop-out. It's just for Future to be friends with Drake again and so on and so forth. Whatever. I don't know if he's telling the truth. I don't know if it's a cop-out. I don't know. That's up for Drake to determine because Drake's the one who's ultimately, being affected by this. As far as, let's see here. As far as what Metro Boomin said this: me and Drake, we had a personal issue. And for the record, not over no girl or nothing silly like that. It was a personal issue that really hurt me and disappointed me. But if you take all that rap entertainment out of it, it's like, have you ever been real cool with somebody and y'all fell out over something? It happens every day. It's just regular shit that just happens to have an audience. People really think we sat for 2 years making 2 albums to be like, yo, fuck this dude. What kind of shit is that? You really think we're going to spend that much time, effort, resource on just trying to get at somebody on an album that's some serious hate? Yeah. Then he said Metro Boomin confirms he regrets going on an anti-Drake tweet spree. Now, I did have my moment online, which I do regret. I should have been stronger than that. That was out of character for me. But at a certain point, it's like, I don't rap, bro. So you're just going to get a shit on me on all these songs. I'm not going to get caught. I'm not going to get in the booth, so I'm going to tweet at you, which is fair. The producer can't rap. So, him tweeting is like one way of responding to whatever Drake says or sends his way. So, interesting takes from both of them, man. I think Future, like I said, Future is trying to make amends with Drake because he also retweeted, Young Thug saying we should all be friends again. But I don't think Metro Boomin and Drake want to be friends again. I don't think Metro Boomin really cares. I think whatever they got is a lot deeper, whatever happened between them. At least that's what Metro Boomin says. I would hope Drake does an interview for once in a while and address a lot more of this to see what's going on behind the scenes, because it is interesting regardless. Get Drake's side more, because there has to be some stuff. It can't just be, regular beef over the top spot and somebody being number one. There has to be something deeply rooted that caused all this to spark off. I know with Drake and Kendrick, there's a lot, but for like Metro and Drake, there has to be something that happened in between. Maybe something between 21 Savage that we don't know about. Maybe, he got 21 Savage to turn on Metro Boomin in some way, or who knows? Or maybe Drake blocked Metro Boomin's blessings in something. Who knows what happened? I'm not trying to put the blame on Drake or anything like that, solely on him. But you never know, man. And that could rub people the wrong way, especially, if you're friends, if you really trusted somebody and you're like, why is this guy doing this to me? But yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward if Drake responds to this. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. But yeah, the GQ Man of the Year definitely delivered with a lot of these interviews and stuff. Even the Cat Williams one, he talks about Diddy and about going in on him and how he hates Diddy because Diddy had a role in Tupac's death, and he's like, I've always hated that, regardless if I'm a rapper or a comedian. I always loved Tupac, and for him to have any type of role in Tupac's death, I always hated him. So that's why he kind of went in on Diddy in the beginning of this year with that Club Shay Shay interview. But yeah, go ahead and check it out if you haven't. Very, very cool. Great move on GQ's part. Dr. Dre has officially decided to respond to the game, and he did it very subliminally, but we knew what he was talking about because Nori from Drink Champs asked him pretty much directly. And Dre did it in a respectful way, but basically said, I don't give a fuck that you were upset that you weren't at the Super Bowl halftime show. So let's play the clip.
thing that's going on right now, that everyone thinks that whenever the Super Bowl takes place, that artist that's there is supposed to...
No, what we need to think about is that before Jay-Z got control of the Super Bowl, wasn't no niggas performing. So let's go back to the essence of the beginning of he's creating a wave of artists to have an opportunity to perform. If you're a good artist and you're a great artist, your time will come. Like, I was never crying about it or mad about it. When Dr. Dre called me and asked me to get his back, I was there for him. But I didn't feel like I was supposed to be there. I was, in demand to be there. This is a big event. People looking at everything when they pick the person to perform. You should just be honored that, hip hop is being able to be seen on that platform for all of us and not hate on the next one.
We had you on the show after the Super Bowl, and you spoke about game. And was there anybody that you felt like you left on stage, or you was good with it?
No, I was good. It was perfect.
He said, nah, it was good. It was perfect. See, Game, here, let me go over the history of Game and Dr. Dre's relationship, right? Game, this is what Game says. Dr. Dre hasn't really spoke on his relationship with Game besides this moment right here from Drink Champs. And Dr. Dre really doesn't do a lot of media press. He's doing it now because Snoop Dogg and him are getting ready to release that Missionary album, which I can't wait for. But Game has always said that despite all the media stuff that's going on, all the media circus, Dre's relationship with Game is always how they last left it. Whenever was the last time that they hung out, that's exactly how the relationship stays. That's what Game said, Dr. Dre said to him. That don't worry about all the outside noise. However we left off, you and me personally, on the last note, is how we're going to be. So if we left off on bad terms, then we'll be on bad terms. But if we left off good, chill, we're all good and chill. But I think now Dre has been basically tired of Game's antics. And Game has burned every bridge possible. Back in 2005, when he was beefing with 50, everyone, well, not everyone, but most part, people were clowning 50 and saying he's not a gangster, G-U-Not, he's a clown. But 50 was calling this out way back in 2005. This guy is not loyal. He flip-flops. He burns bridges. He's not about building something. And I always hate that Game is the one that destroyed a lot of what could have potentially been G-Unit. And I'm not saying destroyed as in he dissed them and destroyed G-Unit as a brand. He just destroyed the group aspect of it. G-Unit as a brand is still strong and going. G-Unit Films and Television, G-Unit Records has still a huge name. If G-Unit did a tour without Game, it would be perfectly fine. They would do millions, and they've done that already, right? So he hasn't really destroyed the brand. Yeah, has he ruined what it could have been with all five of them together? Yeah, but that fucked up Game's pockets as well. It's not like it just affected 50. It affected him as well. Had he stayed with G-Unit, had he built his own brand off of G-Unit, he probably would have had his own label, G-Unit West, or whatever he wanted to call it, Black Wall Street, and he could have been still rolling with 50, Dr. Dre, Eminem, they all would have been rocking with him still. Like, he fucked all that up. And Game needs to realize that, it's why were you upset about not being on the Super Bowl? What was the reason why? Because you constantly, and this is the problem, Game is an amazing artist, but he always, with all the antics, it distracts from the music. Too much antics going on, which I'm not going to lie, it's entertaining. I love watching it, but at the end of the day, some of this stuff is just too much. It's like you don't have to do this to get attention for your music. Just drop great music, promote it properly, tell dope stories, and people will check it out for the most part. Because I like Game as an artist. I've always liked Game as an artist. I think Doctor's Advocate, the second album after he left, G-Unit went on Geffen and did his own thing without Dr. Dre's help. I think that's his best album. I think it's better than the documentary in my eyes. I think he actually delivered on there, and it's a great album. But, it seems like Dr. Dre is done with Game's bullshit. It's clear as day that I think he is finally understanding, or just finally, gave Game enough chances, but now he's like, I'm done with this guy. And, this guy is clearly not loyal. Because what Game said on Drink Champs is Kanye West did for me more than Dre has ever done. You know how disrespectful that is when Dre is the one that took you from Compton, brought you in, taught you how to make music at a high level, and, helped you as much as he could. Yeah, has Kanye put you in rooms with billionaires? That's what his argument was. Yeah, Kanye put me in these rooms with billionaires, and what has that led to right now? It hasn't really led to anything. What Dr. Dre gave you was an opportunity for you to even be in a room with Kanye, with those billionaires, right? So saying those type of things obviously has rubbed Dr. Dre the wrong way. I don't know if he's going to talk about it in the album. That would be really great to have a record where Dre talks about his personal life and just his personal, because he doesn't really speak much, man. We're going to get this promo run of these interviews, and then Dre's going to disappear, and who knows if he'll be back making more music. But, yeah, it's clear as day that Dr. Dre doesn't care, man. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think about it, because clearly to Dre, it's like he just moved on from the situation. He doesn't care about the guy anymore. Billboard Hot 100, let's get into it. Shaboozey is still at #1 with a bar song. I think he is going to break the record for the longest #1 song of all time. It's at number 18 weeks at #1, which is 18 weeks it's been at #1. Not consistently, but 18 weeks at #1. Die With a Smile, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, #2. Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish, #3. Espresso, Sabrina Carpenter, #4. Lose Control, Teddy Swims, #5. That's So True, Gracie Abrams, #6. I Had Some Help, Post Malone, Morgan Wallen, #7. Taste, Sabrina Carpenter, #8. Beautiful Things, Benson Boone, #9. Love Somebody, Morgan Wallen, #10. Going down the list, Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar, #16. Sticky, Tyler, the Creator, #17. Tyler, the Creator, Saint Chroma, #23. Glorilla, Sexy Red, What You Know About Me, #26. Going down, TGIF, Glorilla, #36. Darling I, Tyler, the Creator, #43. Like Him, Tyler, the Creator, #46. Ratata, Tyler, the Creator, #48. Rod Wave 25, #57. Chris Brown, Residuals, #59. Thought I Was Dead, Tyler, the Creator, #60. Noid, Tyler, the Creator, #65. I Love Her, Glorilla, T-Pain, #79. Gunna, Him All Along, #83. Orwa, Emily Choppa, #84. Balloon, Tyler, the Creator, #89. Judge Judy, Tyler, the Creator, #90. On One Tonight, Gunna, #92. That's a re-entry. Take Your Mask Off, Tyler, the Creator, #94. Prove It, 21 Savage, Summer Walker, #96. BX The Plug, The Largest, at #99. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys so much for the support. Spotify, Deezer, Pocket Cast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.